just starting 20 somethings. Time really moves fast. You were just 16.
Hi, I'm DaShon Green, and this is part 1 of my AP Literature video analysis. I absolutely love Miss Laveri's class so far, and it's only been one semester, and I'm already calling her mom. And I recommend this class to anyone who is interested in AP Literature and is willing to accept the rigor of an AP class, because there's a lot of work, but it's not too much. And I will tell you how awesome Miss Laveri's class is, but that's top secret information, and you'd have to find that out for yourself. In part 1, we are instructed to answer one of the 3 questions posed, and I chose question number 2, which states, in some works of literature, childhood and adolescence are portrayed as times graced by innocence and a sense of wonder. In other works, they are depicted as times of tribulation and terror. Focusing on a single novel or play, explain how its representation of childhood or adolescence shapes the meaning of a work as a whole. Okay, so I chose our recent area of study, which is Beloved by Toni Morrison. And it's the story of Beloved herself having been killed as a child, and she's now coming back reincarnated in her seek for revenge. Beloved was killed by her own mother, Setha, at the age of 2 in her mother's attempt to protect them from slavery. She comes back reincarnated, but still a child, and has great sense of wonder. She wonders why her mother killed her and not the others. She wonders why she couldn't experience her childhood and quality time with her mom. She even asks Denver what it's like to spend time with Setha. I can't help but think what she must have observed in those 2 short years, and find it interesting that she even remembers the diamond earrings her mother wore. Though her death brought her terror to her childhood, it did not lack innocence. I'd like to think Beloved as the clay in the shaping of the work. Her death was the main element and the purpose for the story. Her short childhood brought about her reincarnation, which helps continue her childhood later on. She came back in a young woman's body, but still behaved like a child. She could barely walk, and she talked funny just like a child would. She also asked a lot of questions, possessing the inquiry of a child. This is evidence of the adolescence. Then there is her mother, of course, Setha, whose childhood is very important to the shaping of the work. She had seen as a child what slavery did to her mother, and she didn't want that to happen to her and her family. So she did what she thought was best and attempted to kill her and her children, but was successful with only Beloved. She would be considered the potter in the shaping of the work. Her decision made the story, causing both Beloved's death and the haunting of her child Denver later on. Which brings about, lastly, Denver. Denver was Seth's daughter, who dealt with terror during her childhood, being haunted by the ghost of her sister Beloved. Though Beloved haunted her, Beloved was also her friend. She found happiness in Beloved, even after she had been haunted by her for many years. Denver lost her 2 brothers to the haunting of her sister Beloved. But Denver knew exactly who Beloved was when she arrived, having found a friend in Beloved's ghost. Denver was a turning force in the shaping of the story. Another proof of Beloved's sense of wonder in the story and her adolescence was her desire to sleep with Paul D. Her desire to experience something like that from things that she observed is a clear proof of her adolescence. It also may make you wonder whether or not she did it simply to seduce Paul D, or whether or not it was a part of her plot of revenge. So, with this being said, we can now say that because Beloved is the clay, and Setha is the potter, and Denver is the turning force, we watch them all work together to shape the wonderful thing we know as Toni Morrison's wonderful novel, Beloved. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my AP Literature video analysis. In this portion, I will be answering the 5 questions instructed about my experience in first semester, so here we go. The first question says, how have you grown as a learner throughout the course of this semester? I feel I've grown as a learner because I'm more comfortable with my class, and I'm comfortable with the environment of 5th period. And we're practically a family, so I can ask any questions and share any opinion without being afraid of what people might think. We're also very respectful of each other's opinions, and we've also learned that it's either you agree to agree or you agree to disagree, and that helps us to move on throughout various topics on any possible subject, which is a great experience. And that's allowed me to be able to also willingly share what I feel and ask questions as to why people might disagree with me, or ask questions as to why people feel a certain type of way on a certain topic, which helped me to understand the true concept of no question is a dumb question. I've honestly learned that no question is a dumb question in Miss O'Leary's class because I ask them all. I'm usually the one with my hand up asking all the questions. Okay, so the next question is, what is the most important idea slash argument that was generated in this semester's discussions, and can you explain this concept in your own words? So, starting off, I would like to say that this is my second time shooting this part of the video, and that is because a different argument came up this week in Miss Severe's class. I was able to sit in on her sixth period class where they were watching the movie Good Hair by Chris Rock. And there were some very interesting opinions and facts in this movie, and I think the first thing that shocked me was there was a 3-year-old girl who he asked if his daughter should get a perm. And this little 3-year-old girl said yes. And he asked why. And she said it's because you're supposed to get perms. And that was kind of sad to me because she was only 3 and her idea of her hair is pretty much soiled because now she thinks that you have to get perms and it's something that you have to do and it's a must in life, and it's really not. I got my first perm when I was in 5th grade for my 5th grade graduation and stopped getting perms like the end of 6th grade, 7th grade. And I've been natural ever since. And I don't feel that I have to have a perm. And I don't plan on starting my children off, if they do get perms, at 3 thinking that they have to have a perm. So that kind of threw me for a loop. Another thing that threw me for a loop was what the chemicals in a perm can do. Chris Rock went to see a scientist who used a chemical in the perm and put it on a piece of raw chicken, and it burnt through the skin of the chicken and through the meat. Like, it was ridiculous. It was crazy to see, and to think that we put that on our hair to make it straight. And even when he asked him, he said, do you know that people use this chemical to straighten their hair? He was like, really? Like, that's crazy. Another interesting concept was where this it was the concept of weave and where it comes from. He went all the way to India to meet this weave guy and see how it was done and the process of how weave is put together. He got to see a ceremony where women shave their head ceremonially to this blue alien looking guy who this is their sacrifice to him. Like, this is what they sacrifice. Like, when you look at the Bible and they sacrifice ram and sheep, they sacrifice their hair. Like, women who had long hair, like all the way to their waist, cut their hair, shave their hair bald, like shave bald, and give this hair to this guy because it's a ceremonial tradition. And to think that we walk around wearing this weave that is their sacrifice is it's pretty crazy. And it's also crazy that there was a woman on the movie who said that people come into her shop and pay $2,500 to get weave. That's $2,500 to get weave. That's crazy. And another guy was saying that people come in his shop and don't pay their rent to make sure that their hair gets done. And that makes African American women look really bad, to think that we can spend so much money on something as simple as our hair and not consider other things that we need in life. Okay, so the next question is, what are the values or beliefs that inform this idea? So, values and beliefs that may inform this idea is your idea of good hair yourself. You might want to say that you have to have long hair or you have to have short hair, and that depends on the type of person that you are. Me personally, I have short hair and I'm comfortable with it now. At a point in life, it was an issue for me. It affected my self-esteem to know that girls were walking around with long hair. I had shorter hair, but then I realized that it was something I needed to embrace, and that my hair fits me and it's who I am, and I love me. Okay, so this question says, how do you think that this issue is viewed by those with whom you disagree? I think those that I disagree with might say that good hair is pretty hair. If your hair is not mixed hair or white hair or Asian hair or Indian hair or Korean hair, then it's not good hair, which I don't think is true. I think that if you have a head full of healthy hair, then you in fact have good hair. So that's my opinion on the topic. I think my opinion on the use of weave is that most of the time it's used as an outlet for some women. Like some women who spend ridiculous amounts on it are wasting away on it when it's not in fact a need. It's something that you want. It's a desire. So I think that it should be used as convenience. Like if you don't want to do your hair, you can get a sew-in, and it can be convenient for a few weeks. But I do not think that you have to have it. And as far as perms go, I think I'm totally against them now after seeing that the chemicals can burn through a piece of chicken. That's crazy. And the final question says, how can and will you use what you learned in this course outside the four walls of our classroom? I think that I've already started using what we've learned in Miss Laveria's class outside of the classroom. I use everything that we learn in daily life as I'm walking through the halls of Mount Zion High School, as I'm out on the streets and out and about. Like, everything that we learn is stuff that you can adapt not only academically, but to your life socially, mentally, emotionally. Like, it's stuff that we can use for a lifetime. And these lessons are not just gonna last us through high school, but they're gonna last us a lifetime. And I feel like everything that Miss Severi has taught me and everything that I've learned from the opinions of those in my fifth period class is gonna truly help me to better myself as a person and to continue to grow as a young woman. And I love my fifth period class because they've helped me to change my ideas and not be so stubborn with certain topics, so I can open up and see why they feel the way they do. So I think that overall, all the stuff that I've grasped and used, I am willing to share with others because it was something that was shared with me. So this video is now coming to a close, and that concludes part 2 of my AP Literature video analysis. And I hope that you've enjoyed yourself thus far, and you're almost done. Just hang in there just a little while longer. Bye.